Welcome to my NBA 2020 mock draft / predictions video. It's going to be a very interesting draft, especially because I feel the first overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves are selecting Anthony Edwards, which is kind of weird to say out loud because the Timberwolves don't necessarily need him. Yeah, it would be cool to have another guard to go alongside D'Angelo Russell, but is he going to take Russell's spot eventually? Plus, the Timberwolves already have a plethora of guards in Malik Beasley, Jarrett Culver, their last year's draft pick, Josh Okongwu. Their biggest problem isn't the guards right now. It's trying to find a player to go alongside Cat. And Cat could stretch out the floor amazingly, so maybe try your luck at Wiseman, someone who's in a hustle, get rebounds, block shots, and eventually probably develop some type of mid to three-point game. I don't like this pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but if you're drafting based off of talent, Anthony Edwards for sure is on the road to becoming a star. So do you trade this pick for another star and try to compete in the tough Western Conference, or do you select it? I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in. With the second overall pick, I have the Golden State Warriors selecting LaMelo Ball. Just like the Timberwolves, I feel they should definitely try to look to trade away this pick. There's definitely teams out there that want the number 2 overall pick. It just really depends what you're able to get back from it. They're in a better spot to compete this upcoming year if they trade away this pick than the Timberwolves are. The question is, does LaMelo Ball fit if they do decide to keep the pick? And honestly, I feel like he fits better than Wiseman. Wiseman is what they need. They need a center. But they've never really played with a center like Wiseman before during Steph Curry's time. Andrew Bogut was not half the player Wiseman is. Andrew Bogut knew his role. And with the selection of LaMelo Ball, they could run lineups like they did in their first run in the finals, the death lineup having Draymond Green at center, and basically become the Houston Rockets of this season. Could work out. The Rockets are working. With the third overall pick, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting James Wiseman. If you thought the Golden State Warriors were in desperate need of a center, nah, the Hornets desperately need it more. They have a nice young core growing in Charlotte with the emergence of PJ Washington, Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham. It's time to move on from guys like Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo and actually be able to push the pace a little bit more. Wiseman is an athlete. He's going to be able to run up and down the court for all the bad shots Terry Rozier takes, getting rebounds, blocking shots. That's perfect. The Hornets can't make a mistake if they pick one of these 3 top guys. But with Michael Jordan running the front office, you never know. They might pick someone else that we didn't mention in this top 3 so far. With the fourth overall pick, I have the Chicago Bulls selecting Deni Avdija. This is the one spot the Bulls are going to need due to Otto Porter not really seeming to be the fit long term for the Bulls. He's a forward that could do a little bit of everything, including handle the ball. A lot of comparisons to Luka Doncic. I don't know if people are just saying that because he's an international player, but we'll have to wait and find out how he's able to turn out. I'm just going based off of best available fit for each team, and he seems like the perfect fit to go alongside Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and the rest of the young upcoming Bulls. With the 5th overall pick, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting Onyeka Okongwu. This is a tough spot to be in for the Cleveland Cavaliers because the best available guys remaining for this 5 and 6 spot are bigs. And the Cavs are littered with bigs. Tristan Thompson becoming a free agent, Andre Drummond having a player option, and Kevin Love still on a contract. As tough as it may be for the Cavs to let go of like Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love because of the sentimental value of winning a championship, it's time. These dudes don't fit the timeline of the rebuild that the Cavs are trying to do. And Big O could definitely help grabbing rebounds from all the bad shots the backcourt takes. He's the future big man, especially if he's drafted to the Cavs. It's just waiting on the Cavs to let go. Let the past go, Cavs. Let the past go. With the 6th overall pick, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Obi Toppin. Trae Young lobs to Obi. He's going to be running up and down the floor, developing some type of outside game in the near future. Now, the big problem with the Hawks is they need defense, and Obi Toppin is going to give you none of that. He is, however, the best available player. So do the Hawks trade down again and select a different guy, a 3-and-D guy to go alongside Trae Young? Could be a possibility, because just like the Cavs, the Hawks are even worse with the backlogs of bigs they have. They have 5 different centers and then John Collins as well. So a lineup of John Collins and Obi Toppin could be nice, but they traded for Clint Capella last year, so I'm assuming they're going to want to start him. With the 7th overall pick, I have the Detroit Pistons selecting Cole Anthony. This one was an easy one. Cole fits perfectly with the Pistons because they need a point guard. They need a lot more than a point guard, but a point guard is something, you could build around and take the first step with. After being years miserably stuck with Reggie Jackson, this is a step in the right direction. Could be the future for this Pistons squad. Really, the only problem you have left is moving on from Blake Griffin, and apparently the Pistons want to sign J. Cole. So if it happens, Jermaine Cole Anthony, that's going to be a crazy backcourt, huh? It has to happen. He's from UNC too? Yeah, the Pistons are selecting Cole Anthony. With the 8th overall pick, I have the Knicks selecting Killian Hayes. I remember just like it was yesterday. They're getting LaMelo Ball with the 1st overall pick. Now they got the 8th pick. What a shame. The Knicks can't even tank properly. Remember when they were going to get Zion and KD and Kyrie? Yeah, those are good times. Hopefully the backlog of point guards doesn't happen again this upcoming season for the Knicks, and they'd be in a much better spot. But I know Knicks fans probably have like some type of PTSD in terms of drafting a French point guard. But this dude's a bucket, so we'll have to wait and find out what exactly the Knicks do. But I feel he's the best available guard left within this draft, and that's desperately what the Knicks need. With the 9th overall pick, I have the Washington Wizards selecting Devin Vassell. This pick really relies on John Wall being healthy, because if John Wall becomes healthy and becomes the point guard that we all used to remember him as, John Wall, Bradley Beal, Vassell, and Rui, that's a nice core 4 right there. The Wizards don't want to go full rebuild mode, hence keeping John Wall and Bradley Beal all this time. And Vassell is the perfect player to just throw in your starting lineup right away to bring you defense and offense. And in the Eastern Conference, anything can happen, so maybe with the healthy John Wall, we'll see the Wizards finally getting back into the playoffs. It's a sight to see if it happens. With the 10th overall pick, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting Tyrese Halliburton. I feel the Suns are pretty stacked in terms of talent, especially their run in the bubble showed that. And adding a point guard for the future in Halliburton, that's definitely a good pickup. But once you get to the 10th spot, it's pretty weak in terms of power forwards that can change your franchise around. And I feel like the desperate need for having a point guard for the future alongside Booker, maybe Halliburton can be that. With the 11th pick, I have the San Antonio Spurs selecting Isaac Okoro. This is a lose-lose situation for the Spurs because once you get past 10, the uncertainty on how players will develop is high. But luckily, that's what San Antonio does best, help him develop his shot a little bit better to become one of the better 3-and-D players out of this draft. Although defense is what the San Antonio Spurs need, they don't need another 6'6" guard/forward. They need a big, or they need to take a chance on a guy like RJ Hampton, considering DeJounte Murray is not the future. The Spurs will be ultimately holding themselves back by keeping both DeRozan and Aldridge, so this pick would be a lot better if they moved on from one of the two. Luckily, there's only one more year left of both of them, and hopefully we move on from them. The 12th overall pick, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting Aaron Nesmith. With Vlade Divac finally stepping down as the GM and Joe Dumars coming in, that seems like a breath of fresh air to draft the right guy. But unfortunately, when your owner is Rana Dive and just he loves those shooting guards. You remember Stauskas? He loves Stauskas.
Stauskas. For me, Stauskas. I say Stauskas.
Naismith is one of the best shooters in this upcoming draft. They don't want to start Buddy Hield. They want to start Bogdanovich. So this offseason, one of them is going to get the boot out of Sacramento. Hopefully it's not Buddy, but if it is, Naismith can bring that shooting that Buddy brought to the Kings.
You ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Nick rocks! Stauskas.
With the 13th pick, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Precious Achiuwa. Their weakest spot right now is a center, and although Achiuwa necessarily isn't a traditional big, he can guard the 4, the 5, the 3, can spread the floor a little bit, and I think that's exactly what you need around Zion. Although they drafted Jackson Hayes last year, I feel like both Achiuwa and Hayes are completely different players right now, and Hayes hasn't had that time to grow and become the player he could be yet. So bolstering up the front court is always a good option. And with the last pick of the lottery, the 14th pick, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Patrick Williams. The Celtics don't really need this pick, but they got it out of finessing teams and trading assets and acquiring all these picks. And because the Celtics are a team that are in win now mode, they don't necessarily need this pick to contribute right away. So taking a guy like Patrick Williams here at this spot, allowing him to develop, is a good thing because he's one of the youngest players in this upcoming draft. He's not ready yet, but he will be, especially given the opportunity and time, which is something the Celtics need right now. They need a big, and Patrick Williams could play the 3, the 4, and maybe even the small ball 5. So those are my 2020 NBA draft predictions. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below, along with giving me your draft predictions on who you got going where. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, check out some of these other videos, and I'll talk to you in the next one.